Kings Lynn is an old town, a medieval town, a town which has existed for 1,000 years. The name Lynn itself comes from an old Celtic word, len, meaning the lake or pool that once covered this area of Norfolk. Kings Lynn is a maritime town, a waterside town, and this can be seen by the position of some of its oldest buildings and churches. St Margaret's Church, built in 1101, once stood at the water's edge, and because of the movement of the river westward, now stands in a quiet street 100 yards from the South Quay. Tide markings at the west door show the ever-present dangers of being so close to the water. St Nicholas Chapel, built in 1146, in what was once the old North End fishing court of the town, was within a stone's throw of the River Gay, or as it was more popularly known, the Fisher Fleet. It now stands in St Anne Street, a long way from the water. And All Saints, Lynn's oldest church, built in Anglo-Saxon times, once stood quite close to the Millfleet, one of the main waterways into the town. The Millfleet itself has been piped and buried underground, but it still emerges in the walks to flow as merrily as ever. In the past, historians and researchers had to rely on contemporary drawings and illustrations to map the physical changes to the town, such as these by Edward Edwards, last lecturer at St Nicholas Chapel in the 1790s, but the coming of the camera changed all that. Using old photographs taken over the past 100 years or so, we can see some of the more recent changes with much greater clarity. And that's certainly true on the Millfleet, which has gone from tide to tarmac. Following the typhoid epidemic of 1896, the Millfleet was piped in and covered over, and the houses on the south side of what was then Stonegate Street, seen here on the left, were demolished, and the Millfleet took on the width that it has today. It was also in a previous life the town bus station. At the top of the Millfleet, in what is now a dental surgery, stood Bockings, newsagents and tobacconists, where Mrs. Bocking and her family had served their customers for generations. The Church Street side of the property had also changed somewhat over the years. But a short distance away in St James Park, the view was much as it had always been. The Stanley Library, which once stood on St James Road, opened in 1854. It was named after Lord Stanley, the town's Member of Parliament, and was a product of the Athenaeum Club in Baxter's Plain. It closed in 1905 when the present building opened, and for many years was used to provide generations of schoolchildren with a midday meal. It was finally demolished in 1964, and part of the site is now occupied by the town's swimming pool. And the building which had once housed Mr. Dickerson's corn and flour stores is now the centre of a busy traffic junction on the corner of Railway Road. After Mr. Dickerson, the property was occupied by Mr. Stevens, a fishmonger, and older Lynn residents will remember that the site became a popular stop for bus passengers when they would ask the conductor for Stevens Corner, please. And at the other end of Railway Road, just across from Andrew's the chemist's, was another popular bus stop, ideal for town centre shoppers. Townsend's Corner, please. Around the same time that the Stanley Library was being planned and built, this road was going through a major construction process of its own. In 1847 it was just a track with open fields on both sides owned mainly by the Bagg family, and was simply an unnamed extension of London Road and St James Road. With the coming of the railway, the land was developed, and over the next 10 years Portland Street and the Portland Arms plus the area around came into being. The Railway Hotel was built on the corner of the street and Railway Road was born. Another road junction which has changed over the years is this one, where Tennyson Avenue meets Gaywood Road. "100 years ago, it was all so different. The windmill, which can be seen in the background, once stood at the bottom of Homelands Road on the Gaywood River, and was demolished in 1914. Gaywood Road again, this time at its junction with Gayton Road. The clock has been moved in response to the growth of traffic, which is evident.